I'll talk a little bit on No Wrongdoer program, and then we'll turn it back over to Laura to wrap us up. So No Wrongdoer, you all know probably as well as we do what No Wrongdoer is all about. In DC, our vision is up there to have easy and reliable access to a full range of long-term services and supports, which are person and family-centered, culturally and linguistically responsive, and coordinated across a person's lifespan. It sounds so good, it's a little tougher to achieve, but that's what we're working on. And so next slide. As Laura said, doing this requires huge and strong support from the government. We're very lucky that our mayor strongly supports this, as well as the long-term services and supports agencies. And so we have deep commitment and participation from agency directors and other decision makers within those long-term services and supports agencies. But we can't be successful without also having ongoing engagement and support from our community partners and diverse stakeholders. This really is one of those projects that takes everybody working together with a common vision to achieve. Next slide. And so what are some of the things that we're working on now in our first year of our No Wrongdoer implementation grant? We're doing, we have an RFP out. We're meeting regularly with a marketing and branding firm to help us have a common vision that we can communicate, start building a trusted message about our long-term services and support system. We have, we're working with a firm to build that shared resource portal that we talked about that'll help link people to community-based resources. We're doing, and we'll talk a little bit later about the person-centered thinking training that we're doing throughout our long-term services and supports. We've located our ADRC intake staff at our DDS building, so we're actually co-located with our DDA and Voc Rehab Agency, our Aging and Disability Resource Center, and starting in January, our Medicaid agency intake will be happening through the ADRC in our building as well. So we'll have co-located intake for 3 of our services, and we're looking at how to better explore, while they're sitting together, how can our DDA and ADRC intake be better merged, and could it be joint? And so we're looking at that now. We've gotten CMS approval for our advanced planning document for a case, exactly, for a case management system that will work for our DD system, our Medicaid agency, and our ADRC. And so we have an RFP out on that, and we're working closely together on the specifications and what it'll take to do that well. We've agreed upon an accepted set of assessment tools. And one of the things we're working on now is a mayoral order that will really lay out and create performance standards across all long-term services and supports agency about what does culturally and linguistically competent mean and what are our expectations. Same thing for person-centered thinking. It's one thing to say it, but without a clear vision and performance measures that back it up across agencies, it can get a little mushy. And so we're looking at and working on a mayoral order that'll put that into place. And the other thing we want to do through that is formalize the role of stakeholders in the process and on the leadership committee through that mayoral order. So that's some of what we're doing now. In terms of where we are in person-centered thinking in No Wrongdoer, one of the things that's been very helpful in our efforts is that our person-centered thinking efforts are led by a certified person-centered thinking coach. We're really lucky to have somebody apply who had that background. And she herself is also becoming a trainer. And so what we're doing right now is, honestly, it's like a 6-month blitz, where we wanted to just really expose as many people as we could across our long-term service and support agencies, including our managers and our leaders, in person-centered thinking, so that we would have in-house experts and people who knew what this was. We have folks across our Medicaid agency, our behavioral health agency, our DD agency, our Aging and Disability Resource Center, and others, all becoming person-centered thinking trainers, so that within each agency, they'll have somebody who can do training, and also who can answer questions, look at their policies, understand this, and begin to lead those efforts within their agencies. We've also gotten pretty deep engagement from our triad. So our University Center for Excellence, we already have somebody who's a person-centered thinking trainer, but our DD Council asked if they could join our training effort and become a person-centered thinking trainer as well. And so we have that going on. And so over this 6 months, we've already trained, I looked at the numbers yesterday, I think 157 people in person-centered thinking who are staff of our long-term services and supports. That doesn't include the family members and the people with disabilities we trained. So our numbers are a little higher than that once you go beyond. And these are across all of our long-term services and supports. Next month, we have all of our licensing folks going through person-centered thinking, the folks who do our monitoring. So we're very excited about that and building that common conversation. We're training 11 new person-centered thinking trainer, and the other thing we're doing is developing our own mentor trainers. The way this works is, right now we're bringing in consultants who are expert trainers who can train new trainers. We haven't yet had the capacity to do that ourselves. And so we're developing our own mentor trainers so that next year we'll be able to train our own trainers and continue to build that out. You know, the goal of all of this training in person-centered thinking is really to build a common approach so that as we're learning together, we're able to develop a common language, a common understanding, and essentially, at the end of the day, a common person-centered intake process that will feed into a person-centered plan, no matter which long-term service and support agency that you end up with. The thing I'll just note is, you know, vocational rehabilitation is not traditionally thought of as a long-term service and support, but they're housed with us at the Department of Disability Services, and we wanted to make sure our No Wrong Door system was one that encouraged employment first, and so they've been a partner with us throughout. And certainly as part of any front door conversation, one of the things we ask people is, are you interested in employment? And if they are, we can get them connected with RSA immediately, no matter what door they come in through. We have those links with RSA, and that's part of what we've built into it. And RSA is also on their own going through the process of becoming person-centered and doing person-centered thinking training. So next slide. So, you know, where we are this year is that we're developing our mentor trainers. Next year, our goal is that our mentor trainers, without any external folks, will be able to train at least 8 new person-centered thinking trainers from the folks who attended the class this year. So people who attended the class, the people who are your natural champions, people who believe in it and want to do more, we're hoping will rise up and become our next class of person-centered thinking trainers. They also have the ability to start developing new mentor trainers from current trainers. So it's kind of an effort that multiplies itself. We have shared training and person-centered thinking that goes across our DD agency, our Medicaid agency, our Aging and Disability Resource Center. And with that, we're able to offer 2 classes a month for up to 80 learners each month, in addition to the training that's being done in person-centered thinking through our Department of Behavioral Health and our Voc Rehab Agency, and in addition to the training we're doing with families and with people with disabilities. So as we look at it over next year, we can have up to 4 mentor trainers, up to 18 new person-centered thinking trainers, and more than 1,000 learning opportunities. And so for a place like DC, that really gives us some depth and capacity for what's possible in terms of getting everybody thinking about person-centered thinking. And the model can work to grow exponentially each year, because you can always train new trainers who are then able to offer the classes. You know, within DDA, one thing I'll point out is we're in year 4 of this. We've decided, and literally today I saw in the papers, to hire a person-centered thinking project manager. I've been with Laura leading those efforts, and you know, it really is a full-time job for somebody to be thinking about, you know, what's the strategy? How do we keep it moving? What are all the pieces? And now that we have long-term services and supports, how do I represent the agency and our vision? As, you know, because the Medicaid agency has a little bit of a different vision about what person-centered thinking is. The licensing agency has a little bit of a different vision. So how do we stay strong and have somebody out there leading that message? And so we hired a project manager to help us support that. So I'll turn it back to Laura.